My wife said, "If you leave, we are done." I replied, "Then we are done." Then I backed up the files, took the room emails to the board, protected money and custody, and let her tell her story online because she never saw the paper trail waiting. Original post: I am 35. My now ex-wife Lena is 34. We have one son, Noah, who is 7. We live in a mid-sized city. I work as a project lead for a nonprofit that does mental health awareness in schools and community centers. Lena used to work in marketing. 2 years ago, she quit and joined my world. She started helping with events, social media, and sponsors. At first, it felt good. We were a team. She said we would change the conversation together. We hosted talks in libraries and church basements. I shared my story about panic attacks in college, about getting help, about how silence made things worse. The room was always quiet when I talked. People lined up to thank me after. Over time, Lena started talking more and I started talking less. She wanted a podcast, then a YouTube channel, then a retreat. Everything had a brand, a tagline, a hashtag. She also got close to a guy named Eric. He was a therapist who volunteered on our advisory board. Charismatic, fast-talking, good on stage. They started co-hosting panels on mental health in relationships. I did not think much of it at first. They had good chemistry on stage. People liked them. The first thing that felt off was a slide deck. We had a community talk at a local college. The topic was workplace burnout. I sent Lena my slides, simple things, statistics, a few stories. At the event, I sat in the front row to listen before my part. Lena and Eric went on stage together. They started talking about toxic masculinity and emotional labor. It was fine. Then a picture of me appeared on the screen. A still from an old video where I was talking about my worst panic attack. The caption under my face read, "We need to talk about people who use mental health as an excuse." The room shifted. People glanced at me. My chest tightened. My mind stayed calm. I took a slow breath and listened. Eric said, "Some partners hide behind anxiety to avoid doing the work. They weaponize their diagnosis to escape accountability." Lena nodded. "We all know someone like that," she said. "They say, 'I can't help it, my anxiety,' while their partner carries everything." They did not say my name. They did not have to. Half the volunteers in that room had heard my story for years. They knew that video. After the talk, people clapped. A few came up to me and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. I smiled. I packed up cords and handouts. I did not bring it up on the drive home. At home, while Lena showered, I plugged my phone into my laptop. I downloaded the talk recording from our camera. I watched the part with my face on the slide again. I paused it. I took screenshots. I did not confront her. Not yet. That night, lying in bed, Lena rolled toward me. "That panel went so well," she said. "Did you hear the silence when we talked about weaponizing mental health?" "I heard it," I said. She kissed my shoulder. "I know that part might have felt close to home," she said, "but people need real examples, and you are fine now, you can take it." I stared at the ceiling. The next day at the office, one of our older volunteers, Mrs. Green, closed the door behind her. "Are you sure you are okay with that slideshow?" she asked. "I felt like they were talking about you." I shrugged. "I am fine," I said. "We all want the same thing, less stigma." She watched me for a long second, then she nodded and left. That afternoon, I pulled all past event recordings off our shared drive and put copies on a separate folder on my own account. I checked our social media drafts. There were more clips where Lena made little comments about partners who hide behind anxiety. I did not say anything out loud. My first move was simple. I started saving everything. Update 1, the next big thing was the retreat. Lena and Eric pitched it as a 3-day mental wellness immersion at a lakeside lodge. Yoga, group talks, journaling. We had sponsors lined up. The board loved the idea. I was supposed to do 2 sessions about navigating panic attacks at work. Lena and Eric were doing most of the other sessions together. They wanted to stay at the lodge the whole weekend. Babysitting for Noah was set up with my sister. The first odd detail was the dates. The retreat was scheduled Friday to Sunday. The lodge invoice Lena emailed me showed rooms booked from Thursday to Monday. 2 extra nights, I asked once lightly. Why are there extra nights, I said. She did not look up from her laptop. Discount for a block, she said. We got a better rate that way. Some people may want to come early or stay late. Not a big deal. I nodded. Maybe it was nothing. But that night when she was in the shower, I checked the invoice again. Only 2 names were listed on the early and late nights, hers and Eric's. I took a screenshot, saved it. The second odd detail came 3 days before the retreat. I opened our nonprofit's email to send out reminder messages. In the sent folder, there was an email to the lodge manager from Lena's account. It said, "Please make sure our Thursday and Sunday rooms are away from the participant cabins. We will need privacy for planning and decompression." The manager had replied, "Of course. Your king suite is in the separate wing as requested." Our standard rooms for events were always twins, shared with other staff, cheaper. We had rules about this. No one on payroll shared beds with board members or partners. It was about safety and optics. I scrolled further. A message from Eric. "Can't wait for our planning sessions," he wrote. "Feels good to have someone who gets it on all levels." Lena had answered with a winking emoji. I sat very still. I could feel heat in my face, but my hands were steady. I clicked download on the whole email thread. I exported the booking confirmations. I backed up copies to a personal drive. Then I asked myself one question. Did I want to catch them in the act, or did I want to stop it before it happened? The answer came slow but clear. I was done being part of their show. The next day I called our board chair, Miss Patel, calm voice, short sentences. I asked if we could meet in person before the retreat. She agreed. We met that evening in her law office. I handed her a folder. In it were screenshots of the slide with my face, transcripts of Lena and Eric's comments, the lodge invoices, the email about the king's suite. She read in silence. "I am not asking you to fix my marriage," I said. "That is my problem, but this retreat uses nonprofit money. It uses our name. Our rules say no staff or board member shares a room like this. I can't ignore that." She closed the folder. "You did the right thing bringing this here," she said. "Let me handle it from the organizational side. What are you going to do?" "I am not going to the retreat," I said, "and I am going to talk to Lena before she leaves." The next morning, Lena came into the kitchen, suitcase by the door, phone in her hand. "You are not packed," she said. "We need to leave in an hour." I looked up from my coffee. "I am not going," I said. She frowned. "What do you mean, not going? You are the main speaker." "I am not going," I repeated. "And I know about the king's suite and the extra nights and the email where Eric talks about all levels." Her face went pale, then red. "You went through my emails," she said. "That is a huge violation of trust. You used my face on a slide about weaponizing mental health," I said. "Then booked a shared room with our board therapist using nonprofit funds and hid it. I am not the one breaking trust here." She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. "You are twisting this," she said. "We needed private space to plan. Everything is about work. You always assume the worst." I slid a printed copy of the invoices across the table. I pointed to the line that said 1 king suite, 2 occupants, and the Thursday and Sunday dates. "Explain this," I said. She stared at the paper. Her hands shook. "It is just cheaper that way," she said weakly. "You know our budget. Our policy says we do not share beds with board members or therapists," I said. "You helped write that policy." She did not answer, just kept staring. "I talked to Miss Patel," I said. "She has the same documents. She is handling the retreat. I will not be there. You should call her before you get in the car." Lena's eyes filled, but no tears fell. "You went behind my back to the board," she said. "You are sabotaging my work." I stood up, picked up my mug, put it in the sink. "I am protecting the work," I said. "You are the one using it." She whispered, "If you cared about my mental health, you would not attack me like this." I looked at her for a long second. "I care about your mental health," I said. "That is why I am not going to watch you burn my life and our nonprofit at the same time." I grabbed my keys and walked past her to the door. Behind me, she said, "If you leave now, do not expect this marriage to recover." I did not turn around. "That is not a threat," I said. "It is a result." Then I left. Update 2: the retreat did not happen. I found out on Friday afternoon when one of our volunteers texted me a screenshot. The nonprofit's account had posted a statement. "Due to unexpected circumstances, this weekend's retreat has been postponed. We apologize for the inconvenience." I called Miss Patel. She confirmed what I already suspected. "We canceled it," she said. Once the rest of the board saw the bookings and emails, we could not move forward. We also removed Eric from the advisory board. The ethics issue is clear. "And Lena?" I asked. "We asked her to step back from all formal roles until we review this further," she said. "This is hard, I know." "I am sorry." I thanked her. We hung up. Lena stayed at a hotel that weekend anyway. She texted once to say she needed space to process. I did not reply. On Sunday, Noah came back from my sister's house. I made grilled cheese and we watched a cartoon. I did not mention his mother's trip. I just sat on the couch with him until he fell asleep on my arm. Monday morning, the storm moved online. Lena posted a long video on her personal page. Her eyes were red. The caption said, "When your own husband gaslights you and punishes you for trying to do good, what do you do?" In the video, she said I had control issues, that I had snooped and twisted work logistics into cheating accusations. She did not mention the King Suite. She said the board had overreacted due to my panic spirals. She implied I had threatened her job. Her followers flooded the comments. They called me abusive, controlling. They wrote that I was weaponizing mental health talk to attack a strong woman. I did not respond under the post. I took screenshots, every comment, every line. At the office, I asked Miss Patel if we could issue a short, neutral statement. She agreed. We posted from the nonprofit account. We are aware of personal statements made online by individuals connected to our organization. Our board is reviewing internal policy concerns. We remain committed to mental health advocacy and to the safety and trust of our community. No names, no blame, just facts. That afternoon, Eric emailed the board. He said he had never crossed a line with Lena and that the room booking was purely logistical. He threatened to go public if he was removed. Miss Patel sent him a short reply. It included our room policy, the booking receipt, his own email about all levels. It also stated that his removal was already final. He did not write back. Meanwhile, Lena's video started to drift outside her usual circle. Some of our volunteers saw it. A few messaged me privately asking if I was okay. I sent them a simple line. "I am okay," I wrote. "There is more to the story. For now, please do not comment on her post. Let it die." Behind the scenes, my lawyer, who I had called after Lena's video, drafted a formal letter. It outlined how her statements harmed my reputation and the nonprofits. It reminded her that using my mental health history in a false narrative could qualify as defamation. The letter gave her two options: remove the video and any related posts, and agree in writing not to discuss my mental health publicly again, or face a formal defamation suit. We sent the letter through email and certified mail. 2 days later, the video was gone. So were a string of vague posts about toxic partners that she had posted over the past year. She put up a short text instead. "Taking a break from social media to focus on my own healing," it said. In the middle of all this, I moved money out of our joint savings into a separate account under my name, not to hide it, to protect it. I printed statements. I started a log of every shared expense. I talked to a family lawyer about custody and the house. By the end of the month, Lena had moved into a small rented apartment. I stayed in the house with Noah. The nonprofit board confirmed that I would keep my role. We added new rules about conflict of interest and relationships with board members. Eric quietly closed his private practice a few months later. I heard some of his clients saw the board's removal statement and asked questions. He moved to another city. I did not follow. Slowly, my name and mental health story slid back to where they belonged, in workshops, in careful talks. Shared on my own terms, not as a punchline under a photo on someone else's slide. Update 3-4 months after the canceled retreat, Lena asked to meet. She sent a short email. "I would like to discuss Noah, the house, and next steps," she wrote. "Can we talk in person, just us?" I replied, "We can meet at the family center downtown. They have neutral rooms, discussion only about Noah and legal matters, nothing else." She agreed. We sat across from each other at a plain table. A staff member sat outside the glass door. Lena looked smaller, makeup light, clothes looser. She kept fiddling with the strap of her bag. "Thank you for coming," she said. I nodded. "We have 30 minutes," I said. "Let's focus on Noah and the house." She flinched at my tone. I did not soften it. She laid out her requests. She wanted 50-50 custody. She wanted to sell the house and split the money. She wanted to keep some of the event equipment because it was her idea. I listened, took notes. My answers were short. "Noah needs stability," I said. "He can stay in the house with me. You can have generous visitation. We can talk about overnights once he adjusts." She swallowed. "You are punishing me," she said softly, "for a misunderstanding." I looked at her. "You booked a hotel bed with our board therapist and used nonprofit money to do it," I said. "You used my panic attacks as content to talk about manipulative partners. Then you told thousands of people I was abusive when I called you out." "That is not a misunderstanding." Her eyes filled with tears. "I was under so much pressure," she said. "Eric made me feel seen. You were always so calm. I thought you did not care. I made mistakes. I know that now." I tapped my notes once. "Lena," I said, "I am not here to judge your feelings. I am here to make sure our son has a stable life. We can be civil co-parents. We will not be partners again." She stared at me for a long moment. "Do you still love me?" she asked. I paused. The honest answer formed, clean and light. "I care about you as Noah's mother," I said. "That is all I have left." She let out a breath that sounded like something breaking. "So that is it," she said. "Everything we did together. The talks, the videos, the late nights, all gone." "Those talks helped people," I said. "I am proud of that part, but the way you treated me and Maria and the work itself was not love. I am done living inside a story where I am the villain you need for content." We finished talking about schedules and the lawyer process. At the end, she reached across the table like she might touch my hand. I did not move. "Goodbye, Lena," I said. Then I stood up, walked out of the room. Left her sitting there, staring at the empty chair across from her. Final update: it has been a year. The divorce is finalized. We have a custody schedule that works. Noah stays with me during the week and with Lena every other weekend. We meet in public places during handoffs. Neutral. Short. Lena no longer runs events with our nonprofit. She tried to start her own healing collective online, but it never really took off. People in this city talk. A few screenshots travel a long way. Last I heard, she works part-time at a yoga studio and does freelance social media on the side. Eric is gone. He closed his practice and moved out of state. One of his former clients emailed our nonprofit once, thanking us for holding professionals accountable. I did not ask for details. Our organization survived. In some ways, it got stronger. We added a peer advisory group. We started paying small stipends to people who shared their stories, so no one had to trade their pain for exposure only. We wrote a guideline. No one's diagnosis is ever used without their consent. That rule exists because of me, because I learned what it feels like to hear your worst moment used as a warning sign. At home, life is quiet. I wake up, make breakfast with Noah, walk him to school, then go to the office. I still do talks about mental health. I still share my story. When I talk about betrayal and burnout now, I do not mention Lena by name. I say, sometimes people use the language of mental health to control others. That is not healing. That is still harm. After the workshops, people line up. A teacher, a nurse, a teenager with shaking hands. They tell me small parts of their own stories. I listen. I do not film them. I do not post their faces. I give them resource sheets and sometimes a quiet nod that means you are not alone. In my office, on a small shelf, there is one object that did not exist before all this. A printed snapshot of a slide. My face. The caption under it blurred out with a black marker. On the back, in my handwriting, it says, "Tell your own story, not someone else's version." I do not hate Lena. That feeling burned out months ago. I do not love her either. She is the mother of my child and a person who hurt me. Both can be true. Sometimes Noah asks why we do not all live together anymore. I tell him the simplest truth. Grown-ups sometimes forget how to be kind to each other, I say. When that happens, they can choose to live apart so things stay calmer. That is what we did. None of that is your fault. He usually nods and goes back to his toys. Kids are better at accepting the present than adults. When I lock my front door at night, the house feels still. No ring lights. No rushed edits for a post about choosing yourself. Just dishes, homework, laundry, sleep. The revenge, if you can call it that, is not the canceled retreat or the lost board seat or even the quiet collapse of her brand. The real payback is simple. I got my story back, and I will never hand it to someone else to twist Aga.